Hi guys, in this video we're going to be talking about shell navigation, and we have a series of commands that we want to look out for. First, my terminal currently is called git bash. It doesn't matter what terminal you're using. It could be the web terminal online, or you're using your web terminal through SSH on your computer, or you're using command prompt or Windows PowerShell. The most important thing for you to note is that you're getting the commands right. All you need to know is the commands, and if you can use the command or you understand the commands, you can use it on any computer. Also, these videos would not give you answers to your projects and your tasks. We are only discussing the concept of each video, of each training, or let's say this video is going to serve as an extra resource for you in understanding what shell navigation is. So let's begin. The very first command is called print working directory. So print working directory is going to help you to know what current directory you're working on, what current folder you are in. So if I press enter, you see what you can see on my screen is an absolute path to the directory I'm working on currently on my computer. So when you say print working directory, it's like trying to see the address of where you are currently. So in case you're lost in your terminal, just press pwd to know where you are so that you can navigate. So I repeat, print working directory or pwd is going to show you where you are currently on your computer or what folder you are currently working on. Let's do that again. Pwd. Enter. The next command is clear. So clear is going to help you to clear your computer screen, or let's say clear is going to help you to remove what you have on your screen currently. So let's clear, right? Clear. Now that you've cleared your screen, the next command that we would learn is what we call list files, or let's call it list files in directory. So we've been able to know what folder or what directory we are working on. Wouldn't you like to see the files inside? So to be able to see the files inside of your directory, you use a command called ALX. ALX. L for Lagos, S for snake. LS. This is going to show you all the files inside of that folder. So when you press enter, as you can see, I have two subfolders called folder 1, folder 2. Then I have some other files called index.html, logo png, passwords, dest, recipe, and recipe. Alright? Also, I repeat, for you to know the folders that you have currently, you use LX. LX is going to show you all the files and folder you have in a directory. So if I press LX again, as you can see, so what directory is LX working on? You use pwd. So pwd shows you the directory you are currently working on, the path. This is it. Then if you want to see all the files inside of this directory, since you are here right now, you use LX. So this is it. LX have been able to show us all the files and folders inside of this directory that we are currently working in. So I repeat, to see all the files and folder in the directory you are currently working in, you use LX. And it is very good to always check what you have in a folder or a directory. Now, the next thing you need to know is, remember we used LX previously. And LX is telling us that we have folder 1, folder 2, and other files in this directory. What if you want to change your directory? You want to go into another directory. Let's assume we want to go into folder 1. To go into folder 1, you use a command called cd. So remember, when we work with shell, what we do most times is we try to when we work with our computer, you use your mouse to click around. But right here, you can't click around with your computer. So what do you do with your mouse? So what do? You use shell commands. Now, if we want to go into folder 1, we say cd, then you write the name of the folder, folder 1. and now we are inside of folder 1, as you can see here. To see the files inside of folder 1, you say LX, and as you can see, we only have 2 files inside of folder 1. So let's do this again. Let me clear the screen. You use CD to change your directory, but to know the current directories that you have, you use LX. So with LX, oh, we are inside of folder 1. So with LX helps you to move around directory. Now that we are inside a second folder, we can go back to the previous folder by using CD ... and it will take us backward. Okay, so if we do print working directory now, you can see that we are inside download shell, right? But now let's go into the folder that is inside of shell. So we say CD folder 1, enter, and now let's do the print working directory again, pwd. So as you can see, previously we were here, but when we change directory to folder 1, print working directory now is telling us that we are inside of folder 1. And to return to the folder that is behind, or the parent directory, which is shell, we say CD ... And if you do pwd again, as you can see, we are back to the parent directory. Now, you need to understand that these commands this is an absolute command, so you need to understand where you are. So let's assume I know that I have other directory, like let's say let's do LX. So this is LX, and I can see folder 1, folder 2. I can go directly to folder 2 using an absolute path. So let's say CD folder 2. CD. So dot means your current working directory. If you want to use the absolute path, then folder 2. So it means go from the current working directory to folder 2. And as you can see, we are inside of folder 2. So let's list all the directory folders and files inside of folder 2. And we have this. So I repeat, clear. I repeat, to see the current directory you're working on, you use pwd, pwd, pwd. To see all the files and folder inside, you use LX. And to change directory, let's assume we want to go back to the parent directory, you use CD and ... Or let's go into folder 3, CD folder 3, and it takes us into folder 3. As you can see, we are inside of folder 3 right now. And now let's go back to folder 2. We say CD ... And you see we are back to folder 2. If I do pwd, you can see that we are in folder 2. Now if I want to go back to shell, the parent directory, I say CD again ... this. Now remember, we know that inside of folder 2 we have folder 3. So let's go into folder 3 directly. And how do you go straight to folder 3? We use CD, then you say dot, the current working directory, folder 2 / folder 3. Enter. As you can see, we are in folder 3. And how do we confirm that? pwd. So to change your directory, you use pwd. Now let's go back to our main directory. CD ... and you do that again, CD ... So now we are back to shell, and if we print the working directory, we are in our home directory. So let's clear this. So you use CD to change directory. The next command you need to know is called less. So what does less do? Less helps you to open files for you to see them. And how do you read files? First, let's see all the files that we have. So we have passwords.txt. So we are going to work with passwords.txt. And how do we see the content of the password.txt file? You use the command called less, then passwords.txt. Less. less than the name of the file that you want to read or that you want to open. So since we want to open this passwords.txt, we say less passwords.txt. And when I press enter, as you can see, though it's not a password file, it contains people and maybe amount of money. But the point is, you can see what is inside of it. Normally, you can't read this file, but with less, you can read it. And to quit, you say Q. It takes you back. So let's try it again. Let's see if we can read what is inside of index.htm. To read it, we say less index.htm, then enter. As you can see, it is an HTML file, and you can see this is the content. So less is going to help you to open the file inside of your terminal, and when you are done reading or you're checking what you want to check, you can use Q to go back or quit out of it. So you use less to read a file. Let's try it for the last time. Let's check the recipe.htm file. Recipe.htm file. You use less to open the file, to read it, to see what is inside. When we press enter, as you can see, this is an HTML file, but it's the recipe file. We have 1 cup of butter or margarine and 4 cups of sugar. So I've been able to confirm that I've seen what I want to see. So now I can quit. And you use Q, letter Q, to quit. So less helps you open a file to read the content. Okay, less helps you to open a file to read the content. And when you are done reading the content, you use Q or quit, Q, to leave the less command. So now let's clear. Now we've been able to change directory, print our working directory, see all the files, and even read the content of a file. The next thing you would want to do is to create a file. And how do you create a file? You use a command called touch. But first, let's see all the files and folders that we have. So see, we have all these files and folders currently. What if you want to create a new file? You use the command called touch, and let's call this file1.txt. That has been created. To confirm that it has been created, you use ALX. And as you can see, oh, I called it file. So file, I called it file here. See? So file.txt has been created. Also, you can create so many files at the same time. Let's do it. So you can say touch file1.txt, file2.txt, file3.txt. So I want to create 3 files in one go. So see what I've done. I use touch, then the name of the files I want to create, space, the name of the second file, space, the name of the third file, and I press enter. And if I use less or list files in the directory ls, we'll be able to see that this file has been created. And as you can see, file 1, file 2, file 3 have been created successfully. Previously, we created one file using touch.file.txt, which created this, but now we created 3 files at a go using touch and the name of the 3 files. So let's clear. I want to show you something with ALX. Also with ALX, you can see a lot more information with the file. So you say ALX. So this shows you a long list of information about all the files and folder in the directory. So as you can see, we have this, precious, this. So it just shows you more information about the file. So let's clear. I forgot to show you that previously. ALX.L, it shows you more information about the files in the directory. Okay, I'm sorry I forgot to show you this previously. And if you also want to see hidden files, you say LX-A. But I don't have hidden files here. But you see, it's going to show you all the dot files. So you see you have dot. So that's that. So you add this to your knowledge about ALX. So to see all the information about the file, you use LX-L. To see dot file, you use LX-A. Now that we've been able to create files successfully, we would also like to copy files. So to copy files, you use a command called cp. So let's see all the files that we have. We have 3 files currently. We have a lot of files, files and folder. Let's assume we want to copy file 3. Or we want to copy file, this file here, file.txt. You would do something like this. You say copy cp file.txt, then the name of the new file that you want to copy it to. So we can say file underscore copy, or let's call this file copy .txt. Enter. Now let's confirm if we've been able to copy file.txt to file copy.txt. And how do we check that? You use ALX. So you can see now that we have file copy.txt. We copied this file and we copy and pasted it to file.txt. So to copy file, you use the command called cp. Cp helps you to copy your file and paste it into the same directory. Okay? Cp is used to copy file, this command cp. So you say cp, the name of the current file that exists, and the name of the new file that does not exist that you want to copy into. Another command that you should take note of, let's clear, is called file. So let's do ALX. Let's assume we want to understand what is it about this file.txt. You use a command called file. So file helps you to determine the data of a file. So you say file dot the name of the file or folder you want to check. So let's say file.txt. As you can see, it tells you file.txt and it also tells you that it is empty. Let's do it on passwords.txt. So file passwords.txt. As you can see, it says passwords.txt. It is a CSV test file. Let's do it on index.htm. So we say file index.htm. And as you can see, it's telling you now that index.htm is an HTML document that contains ASCII text with very long lines, 410 lines, with CRLF line terminators. Okay, so you use file command to get more information about a particular file. So let's clear. The next command you want to learn is called mv or move. So mv is used to move file or rename files. Now let's ls to see all our content. This is all our content again. Now let's assume we want to change the name of this file, file.txt. All right, to change the name of file.txt, we can use mv to do that, and I'm going to change it to git file. So let's say mv, I want to change file.txt to new file. Let's call it new file. Let's rename it to new file, new file.txt. Okay, can you see? So move is going to help us rename this file, this one, file.txt, from file.txt to new file.txt. And let's do that. Enter. Now to be able to confirm that it has happened, you use ALX. And as you can see, file.txt does not exist here anymore. Instead, it has been renamed to new file.txt, which now exists here, new file.txt. And we use the move command to change the name of the file. Also, like the name says, move command, right? So you use it to move a file to another folder. So renaming file is the primary aim of that command, but the main aim of that command is to move file. So let's see everything we have. So we have file and we have a lot of files and folder. So let's assume that we want to move file.copy to folder 1. remember that it's file.copy is a copy of another file, so we don't need it here anymore. So to move file copy.txt to folder 1, this is what we do. You say move, okay, move file copy.txt. That's the name of the file you want to move, then the folder where you want to move it to. So we want to move file copy.txt to folder 1, and let's do that. And that file has been moved. So let's check our current directory. So we are still in shell. Now let's list all the file and see if we can still see file here, file copy here. It won't be there anymore because we've moved it. So LX, as you can see, file copy does not exist here anymore. Why? Because we've moved it here into folder 1. So let's go into folder 1 to see if it is there. So you say cd folder 1. Okay, we are in folder 1 now, and let's see all the files we have inside folder 1, LX. So we should be able to see our file copy here now. So as you can see, file copy is now here because we've moved file copy into folder 1. Okay, now let's go back to our previous directory. So you use MV to move files around, you use copy to copy file, you use MV to move files and also to rename files. Okay, take note. Now we have a lot of files, right? How do you remove file or delete a file? To delete a file, you use a command called rom. So let's check all our files again so that we will know the ones to delete. And now remember, we created a lot of files that we may not be using. File1.txt, file2.txt, file3.txt. So let's delete the first one, file1.txt. To delete it, you say rom, then the name of the file, file1.txt. Enter. And that file has been deleted. And how do we know that? You use ls to see all the files and folder remaining. As you can see, file 1 no longer exists because we've deleted it here. You can also delete more than one file at a go. And how do you do that? You say remove. So I'm going to delete file 2.txt and file 3.txt at the same time. And those files have been deleted. And if we use LX to see if they still exist, you can see that those files don't exist anymore. We don't have file2.txt anymore or file3.txt anymore. We don't have them here anymore because we have been able to delete them successfully. Now, what if you have been working and you want to create a directory? You want to create a folder. Remember, we only have 2 folders, okay? To create a folder, you use what we call mkdir, make directory, and the name of the directory. So let's call this folder 3. So this is going to create a new folder called folder 3. So enter. And let's check if our new folder is there. So LX. And as you can see, we have our new folder called folder 3. Okay? You can also create more than one folder at a go. So let's try that. Folder 4, folder 5. And let's see if these 2 new folders have been created. So you use LX, and as you can see, we have folder 4 and folder 5. And now, when you have a lot of folders, you would want to delete, right? So for you to delete folders or remove folder, you use a command called remove directory. So let's see all our files and folders first. So let's remove folder 5. To remove folder 5, you use a command called remove directory. And this is it, romdir, and we say folder 5. So let's remove folder 5. And as you can see, folder 5 has been deleted. Let's confirm. See, folder 5 does not exist anymore. Now let's remove the 2 remaining folders, folder 3 and folder 4 that we created recently. So romdir. So you can remove more than one directory or one folder at the same time. So let's remove folder 3 and let's also remove folder 4. So enter. and we've been able to delete these two folders. And let's confirm that. And let's see, that's going to be LX, and as you can see, folder 3 and folder 4 do not exist anymore. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this video. This is the first of the series of shell navigation. To touch on everything we've discussed again, we've talked about printing working directory to see the directory you're currently working on. We also talked about LX to help you see all the files inside of your directory. We talked about CD to change directory. We talked about less to be able to read the content of a file. We talked about touch to help you to create a new file. We talked about CP, which we use to copy files. We talked about MV, which you use in moving files or renaming files. We talk about RAM, which you use in deleting files. We talk about mkdir, make directory, which you use in creating folders. And we talked about rm directory, dir, which you use in removing directory or deleting directory. And last but not the least, we talked about file, which you use in checking the content, in checking the information about a file, or seeing what kind of file that particular file is. So ladies and gentlemen, this is all on the our first shell navigation video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.